Classes and IDs are something which we'll use all the time when building websites. They are a way to select or to hook a certain element on our page, so we can apply our CSS to it. We will also use them later in the course too, when working with JavaScript. Let's first begin with ID. We can add an ID attribute to any element, then target this element using CSS. If we go over to the contact.html page, we've already used IDs in this section. So taking a look for the name at the top, and if you scroll across to the right, over here we have an ID of name. We also had an ID of email and message too. One important thing to note with IDs is that they must be unique. We should only use one ID name on each page. We then link this ID up in the CSS file with a hash prefix. So to add some styling to this name, we could go over to the styles.css, and then down here, using the hash prefix, we could target the name. And then we could do things such as adding a background color. So let's change the background to be red, and then give that a save. Over to our web browser, and we need to go to the contact us page. Scrolling down, and now have a red background for this name section. It's important to know that IDs must not start with a number 2. If we were to go over to the CSS and then add a number, such as this, the text editor turns it red to signal a problem. So let's remove that and save. So this is an ID, which we use to select a single element on a page. But what if we wanted the same styles to apply to multiple areas, such as our products? For this case, we can use a class. Adding the same class name to all of our product div tags will allow us to write some styles which will apply to all of them. So if we go over to the index.html, and then if we locate our first product, which is the controller, for the surrounding div, which is here just above the link, we can add a class attribute of product. And since we can use this more than once, let's copy this and add it to all 6 products. So there's the second one, the third one, the fourth one, and if you've got more than 6, add them to each and every one. And that's all 6, so I'll give that a save. We also have a product inside of the product detail page too, so we can add this to our product inside of there. So scroll down to the main section, and again inside the opening div for the product. This will make sure the same styles we apply in the CSS will apply to this product too. So this time, instead of the hash prefix, if we go to the CSS, we use a dot to indicate that we're targeting a class. We then added the name of product. And now we can add some styles inside these curly braces. This class, along with the ID which we used before, and also these element names just above, are all called selectors. They are also some more advanced selectors too, and we'll take a look at these later in the course. So let's go ahead and add a border to our product div of 1 pixel wide, a solid line, and the color of gray. Then we can set the width of each product to be 200 pixels wide, with the semicolon, and let's see how this is looking over in the index page. Give that a reload, and go down to our first product. We can see the border if we look down here, and also this looks about 200 pixels wide. However, this image above is too big to fit inside this container. There are a few ways which we can deal with this. We could set the overflow property to be hidden, just like that, and save that, and then reload. And now we can see the image is inside of the 200 pixels container. This is not ideal because this hides the rest of the image, which doesn't look too great. A better solution for this will be to set the maximum width property rather than the overflow. So let's remove this overflow. And then below this we can target the image selector. and then use the max width CSS property and set this to be 100%. Give that a save and then reload. And this makes sure the image stretches no further than the surrounding container. So that looks a lot better. This is more like what we want. However, the products are still stacked on top of each other because, like we mentioned earlier, div elements are block level and begin on a new line. But this is okay for now, and next we'll move on to margin and padding.